Hello everyone, we've got a nice probability and conditional probability with Venn diagram question. A large college produces 3 magazines. One magazine is about green issues, one is about equality, and one is about sports. A student at the college is selected at random and the events G, E and S are defined as follows. G is the event that the student reads a magazine about green issues, E is the event that the student reads a magazine about equality, and S is the event that the student reads a magazine about sports. The Venn diagram, where P, Q, R and T are probabilities, gives the probability for each subset. Find the proportion of students in the college who read exactly one of these magazines. So they're only going to be reading about green issues. Now, the students who are only reading about green issues is this one here. The students who are only reading about equality is this one here. And the students who are only reading about sport is this one here. So therefore, it's either this one or this one or this one. So therefore, when you think about the word or in probability, you add to probabilities together. So we have 0.08, add 0.09, add 0.36. So we add those together and that turns out to be 0.53. There we go. So that's part A done. Now, part B. No student read all 3 magazines and the probability of G is 0.25. Find the values of P and Q. Well, if nobody reads all 3, that means that the probability here in the center is 0. Okay, so there's nobody reading all 3. And if the so we can say that P is equal to 0. Now, if green issues adds up to 0.25, then Q is going to be 0.25, take away the 0.08, take away the 0.5. So that is going to be 0.25, take away 0.08, take away 0.05, which is 0.12. So Q is 0.12, okay? So we've worked that out because this is 0. The whole circle here adds up to 0.25. So we've been able to find out what P and Q are from that. Now, it says, given that the probability of S given E is 5/12, find the value of R and find the value of T. Now, let's think about what does it mean when it says the probability of sports given equality. So we've got here conditional probability, and I think the easiest way to think about this is to think about a reduced sample space, okay? So what we're saying is if we've got given equality, then that means that the whole sample space is reduced to just that circle there, okay? So the denominator is just going to be 0.05 plus 0.09 plus R, because given equality, so let's write down here, probability of sports given equality, that means that the denominator is just the probability of equality, which is 0.05 plus 0 plus 0.09 plus R. Okay, so that's our denominator. Now, the probability of sports given that is just going to be the 0 plus the R, okay, because that's the bit from the sports. So the whole world is boiled down to equality, and we've got of sports and equality, we have R over that whole thing. So it's going to be R over that. So let's just see what that gives us. So that is R over 0.05 plus 0.08, which is 0.13. So we have 0.13 there, plus R over R. So that's our way of working out S given E. Now we're told in the question that this is equal to 5/12, okay? So what we can do now, if this is equal to 5/12, then what we can do now is we can multiply. Oh, let me just double check this. Hang on one moment. Yes, so that is actually 0.14 there. Quickly make an adjustment to that one. 0.05 as 0.09 is 0.14. There we go. So yeah, that's our expression there for S given E. Now, we need to solve this for R, so we can just cross multiply. So we can say that 5 times by 0.14 plus R is equal to 12 times by R. Okay, so we're going to have 0.14 times by 5 is going to give us 0.7. So we have 0.7 plus 5R is equal to 12R. So we can then subtract 5r off both sides, so we end up with 7r is equal to 0.7, which means that r is equal to 0.1. So we've now calculated, therefore, that r is 0.1. So let's come back to our diagram here. R is now 0.1. So far, so good. So we've only got t left to find now. And t is just going to be 1, take away all of the other probabilities that we know. So this is now part C. C part 1, we found out that r is 0.1. And now we're about to calculate what t is. And t is just 1 minus all of the other probabilities. And just to save our time, when you work that out, that gives you 0.2. And that 0.2 has just come from 1, take away that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Q, remember, we found out that Q was 0.12 there. And that one. So it gives you what t is. All right, so that's really good. I mean, that's nice. So that's, to think that that was worth 4 marks. Good chunk of marks in this question. That was a really nice 4 marks, I think. Right, the last bit, something a little bit more complicated. So it says now, determine whether or not the events S given E, S given not E rather, and G are independent of each other. So let's have a look and think about what are our probabilities. First of all, what is the probability of S given not E? Okay, so where is that one? S given not E. So given not E basically means it's as though E has kind of like gone, okay? So E is completely out of the picture. So if I was to kind of put maybe if I put that over E, does that work? I don't know. No. Let's just imagine E's not there, okay? E's gone. So what's the probability that's in S given that E has gone? So given that E has gone, we have got 0.12 and 0.36. So we've got, yeah, it's just going to be the intersection of not E and S is going to be just 0.12 plus 0.36, because which is going to be 0.48. So 0.48 is the bit that is common to both not in E, but at the same time is also in S. So it's basically this bit here that I'm indicating with the pencil now. Everything inside there, okay, is going to be this probability. So that probability is 0.48. Okay, fine. Now, the probability of G, you may remember, the question told us that that was 0.25. Now, if it is in fact the case that these two probabilities are independent of each other, then when we multiply them together, we should find that we get the same as the intersection of S not E and G from the diagram as well. So let's work out what we get when we work out 0.48 times by 0.25. That's going to be a quarter of 0.48, so that's going to be 0.12. So that's what we get when we times them together. Now, if they are independent, then this should match the corresponding region on the Venn diagram. And what is the corresponding region on the Venn diagram? Well, oh yeah, because what we should have is, if they are independent, then the probability of S intersection not E intersection G, okay, like that, would equal the probability of this one times this one. So if they're independent, the probability of this one intersection this one is the same as that times that. Now, where does the intersection of these correspond on the Venn diagram? Well, remember, this region here that I'm shading now, this is our S intersection not E. This is our G, and the bit that's common to both of those two diagrams, the bit that's in G and that, so it's got to be in this sort of like crescent shape here and in G, is just this little bit here, this 0.12. And so you can we can see from the diagram that the region we're after is 0.12, and we've just found out that we get 0.12 when we times them together, so we can say that yes, they are in fact independent, because they've met that criteria for independence. Perfect. Okay, nice little question that. I like that one. I hope you found that helpful. Remember, if you're finding these videos useful, do remember to like and subscribe to the channel. That's really going to help me keep on making more videos and keep on growing the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.